Joining me now is author and political commentator Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always done. Y'all are some dumb niggas. Seriously. And I am really irritated, but welcome to Shaking My Head with Shemeka Michelle. I am your host, Shemeka Michelle. And it's really better if I show you, because I can show you this foolishness better than I can tell you. I know you don't want to see it again. I hated having to watch it again just for this show. And listen, before you get up here and say, I hate myself, let me correct you, okay? I don't hate myself, but I dislike many of you because I think you're stupid. I think you're ignorant. So I want you to know that before you get up here and say, I hate myself because of what I'm getting ready to say, let me let you know that when you say, I hate myself or I don't like Black people, I automatically think you are an intellectual midget. And right then and there, you become like a small wounded animal in the ocean. And I'm a great white, and I'm going to devour you for not having a logical thought process to debate what it is I actually have to say or have an issue with. So then you just go to, I hate Black people, I hate myself, and I'm letting you know, if I catch you in the comments with that foolishness, if I catch you in my comments, even after the live is over with that foolishness, I'm going to become an ass eater, okay? Because I'm going to eat your ass completely up. I don't have time for your BS. I do not have time for your BS. Let me catch you up to speed so you can understand exactly why I am shaking my head on this nice, beautiful Monday before Thanksgiving. Let's start here. Every functioning country on earth has a legal immigration process. Mexico has one. Canada has one. African countries have one. Europe absolutely have one. So why do we act like the United States is evil for enforcing the same thing? Can y'all tell me that? Breaking the law isn't a culture. It isn't a personality trait. It's a choice, and choices have consequences. You can love immigrants. I am not at all saying that you can't love immigrants. I saw people with signs that said, love thy neighbor, right? And I understand that's scripture. We're supposed to love thy neighbor. So I'm not saying that you can't love your neighbor. You can't love the people you work with. You can't love the kids or the people you go to school with. Teachers, I'm not saying you can't love your students. You can. You can love people and still expect them to follow the law. You expect Tyrone to follow the law. You expect little Bobo or little Bookie to follow the law. I'm not sure why when it comes to Jose and Pedro and Maria, it changes. You can love people and expect them to follow the law. That's what real compassion looks like. Encouraging people to do things the right way so they don't end up in bad situations. But apparently, the new moral standard is if you feel sorry for someone, oh, woo, 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 woe, it's you. If you feel sorry for someone, the law doesn't apply. No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. This isn't how it works. And I'm aggravated because that's Durham, North Carolina. The images, the video I just showed you, Durham, North Carolina, my city, where I was raised. This is home for me. And I'm seeing so many people do a bunch of silly shit. Let me just be honest. I think it's silly. First of all, I don't know what popping the wheelie or rolling with your one side flat like you encountered. I don't know what that does. Okay? Because ICE doesn't make the law. They're here to enforce the law. So I don't know how popping the wheelie is going to change the laws. I don't know how skipping school for all of you dumb DPS students, I don't know what skipping school is going to do to change the law. This is what happens when you take civics out of the classroom and people don't understand how the law works. I don't know. Maybe we should bring back Schoolhouse Rock so you can understand how stuff becomes a bill, how laws become laws, because y'all are out here doing a whole bunch of silliness. And my question is, for what? What are you protesting for? Why are you blocking the streets? What is that going to do? And you know why it's so aggravating? It's manufactured morality. It's manufactured moral outrage. And it's annoying. I showed up in North Carolina and suddenly everybody found their voice. It was like a casting call for Activist Theater 101. Do we have any actors? Do we have anybody wishing to go to Hollywood? This is your opportunity. Let's pretend like you have a problem with illegal immigrants being shipped back. Let's pretend like you have a problem with laws being enforced. Activist Theater 101. People who didn't even know what I stood for a year ago, a year or two ago, a couple of months ago, out there chatting now like professionals. This is selective moral outrage. It's fake and it's annoying. Because let's be honest, this outrage isn't about immigration, it's about Trump. Many of you have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. And that's what this is. You know how I know? Because y'all didn't have this outrage when the person called deportation, chief of deportation, was in office, you didn't have this outrage. He was called deporter-in-chief. Had to look at my notes. Deporter-in-chief. This is about Trump, and it's so fake. It's about looking woke on camera. It's about looking like you care on camera. This is virtue signaling. It's about signaling to the internet, look at me, I care. It's just as bad as when y'all idiots turned your profile black. You put the black square in your profile picture looking stupid. This is exactly what that is. Going to the internet or making sure you're on camera, feeling like, look at me, I care. And you know how I know this isn't about compassion? Because if this were about compassion, if this was about compassion, y'all same people would have been in the streets when the deporter-in-chief was in office, because Obama deported a record number of people. According to statistics or the numbers that I have, Obama deported 5 million people back to wherever they came from. So if it wasn't an issue then, it's not an issue now. If it wasn't about compassion then, it's not about compassion now. Y'all are liars. You are fake. And this is manufactured moral outrage. This is selective outrage dressed up like morality. Obama's administration deported more people than any other in the 3 decades prior. He had about 2.75 million removals and 2.1 million returns. Well, Shemeka, what do you mean? What's the difference between a removal and a return? I'm glad you asked. A removal is a formal order, usually by an immigration judge or enforcement agent. This could become a potential felony if they attempt to re-enter. So when you all are whining about, oh, ICE is being too rough, ICE is doing this, and ICE is doing that, you don't even know if some of these people they're trying to get up out of here were removals. 2.75 million of the removals during Obama's administration or any other previous administration. It's a formal order. That's what a removal is, by an immigration judge or an enforcement agent. And when you decide I'm going to come back after a removal, that is a potential felony. Y'all know how y'all like to look down y'all nose at felons? He a convicted felon, or he a felon, or didn't you just get out of jail, Tyrone? Little fat draws. So Pedro and Jose, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez could be potential felons just from coming back after a removal. A return. Obama sent back 2.1 million. They were under the category of return. That's sent back, typically at the border. We didn't caught you trying to get on over here in the inner tube. We're gonna send you back. That's the return. You thought you were coming across loaded up in the back of a truck. That might be a return. We catch you trying to climb the wall or whatever you're trying to do, a return. But once you get here and set up shop, all you little food trucks, whatever, once you get here and set up shop and there's an order of immigration by a judge or an enforcement agent and you're sent back and you try to come back, that's a potential felony. So for everybody saying, oh, it's a civil matter, it's not criminal, it's not a criminal matter, you don't know whether they were here before and decided to come back or not. There's a difference between a removal and a return. And I need you all to understand that, and I'm not trying to just pick on a certain group, okay? Because anybody can be here illegally as an immigrant from anywhere. Visa may have run out and they decided they were going to set up shop from wherever outside of America if you aren't American. So I'm not just picking on Mexicans. Although I see a lot of them. So during this broadcast, you may hear a lot of references that seem as if I'm just picking on one group of people. But I am talking about anyone who is here and not supposed to be here. I don't care if you look like me with a wider nose and a gap between your two front teeth, because are we here on the same page? I don't care if you are brown, black, white, yellow. If you are not supposed to be here, this is for you. If you are out here protesting for people that are not supposed to be here, this is for you. So who am I talking to? I'm talking to you. If it don't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear it. If the sombrero fits, wear it. I'm talking to you. And it frustrates me because y'all act as if this is only happening in America. Y'all act as if America is so evil. America is just so bad. America just doesn't, they don't want it to be an all-white country anymore. It hasn't been an all-white country ever. Ever. For those of you who say, they stole it from the Native Americans, it's never been an all-white country. So for you all to sit here and be like, oh, they just don't want it to be a white country, it's never been white. And I don't feel sorry for the Native Americans who were conquered. They were conquered. Lands were conquered all the time. And it seems as if, to me, America is still in jeopardy of being conquered by people who don't like America. Because I can't understand how y'all come here and this is America and you're waving your flags. I need you to treat that flag like a magic carpet, hop on it and go back to where you came from. You don't get to come here for a better life and then be waving your flag. You should have waved your flag and had that much pride in your own country to turn it around and make it what you want it to be. But when you come to America, there's a way to do it, and you need to fall in line, Girl Scout. Fall in line. You don't get to do what you want to do in a country that has laws and rules. You follow those or you got to go. And that's just what it is. And I'm sorry that little Timothy, little Shanice has made friends with Umbutaku or Pedro or Sally from somewhere else. I'm sorry that your child made friends. But if your child's friends' parents broke the law, this is just what it is. And you don't get to act as if people can just come over here and do what they want to do. In Mexico, there's a legal immigration process. And in order to receive a permanent residency in Mexico, one would have to prove they had economic solvency. What does that mean, Shemeka? I'm glad you asked. In order to become a resident of Mexico, if I wanted to go there and live, I was sick of America. I want to go to Mexico. I want to live there. I want to set up shop there. I want that to be my home. I would have to prove economic solvency. That means having enough money to support myself. I wouldn't be able to go and say, hey, I want to be here. Give me food. Hey, I want to be here. Give me cash. Hey, I want to be here. Make sure all my medical bills or medical support or assistance is covered. If I wanted to pick up and move to Mexico, I would have to prove my economic solvency. The ability to support myself. Yet we have so many people coming here thinking America is supposed to support them. The taxpayers of America are supposed to support them, all while waving a Mexican flag. Make it make sense. All while deciding I'm not going to learn how to speak English. Make it make sense. And they aren't just waving Mexican flags. I showed you all a couple of weeks ago when you had the person running for mayor and it was waving Somalian flags and speaking in a language us Americans couldn't understand. We have the mayor of New York, not from America. So this isn't just about one group of people. This is about a group of people who can't make it in their own country and then coming over here wanting to make our country a third world country like the ones they escaped from. Or trying to turn our country into the type of country that had a government they wanted to escape from. And y'all are applauding it. There is no country as an American that you could go to and just not have any rules. Now, under the Compact of Free Association, U.S. citizens have special rights to live and work indefinitely in 3 Pacific Island nations. One is the Federated States of Micronesia. I ain't even never heard of it. Okay, until I never heard somebody say, I'm getting ready to go on vacation to the Federated States of Micronesia. I ain't never heard y'all say that ever. Marshall Islands, number 2, is similar to Micronesia. Citizens of the U.S. can reside and work in the Marshall Islands indefinitely under the COFA agreement. Never heard y'all say, I'm going on vacation to Marshall Islands. Palau also grants U.S. citizens the ability to live and work in Palau without a visa for an indefinite period. I've never heard anybody say, I'm going to Palau to just vacate and rest. It's so beautiful. It's so nice. These are still undeveloped places. I doubt Americans are going there in droves. Maybe some people dodging crime, but I haven't heard you all say that's where you want to go. That's where you want to live. It is not possible to permanently move and live in another country without adhering to some form of legal immigration policy. So why y'all all in y'all feelings about people thinking they can do that here in America? It's beyond me. I have no clue why y'all think that's okay. Why y'all have all this charity for foreigners like it's okay. And one of the things that also irritated me and caused me to shake my head is I got a text message where my classmates were raising money. And it bothers me that let me see. I don't even have my phone close enough to me to read the text message. If somebody listening want to run down here and give me my phone so I can read the text message, I would greatly appreciate it. I want to read you all the text message that my classmates sent. My phone is down here already. That's me giving clues. My phone is here in my office. I just need it. It's across the room and I can't get to it. If I slide away from the camera, it's right there. Thank you. If I slide away from the camera, you know what I mean. Let me read this because it irritated me so bad. Give me a second, guys. Okay. I got a text message that said, hey, classmates, if anyone is interested in assisting Durham Public Schools with the needs of students, teachers, and families who are being impacted by the presence of ICE, here's the link to do so. You may assist by volunteering to distribute food and or donate monetarily. Stay safe, family. Love y'all. First of all, I'm safe because I was born right here in America. All of my classmates were born right here in America. But what frustrates me is because we are all Black adults from a predominantly Black school, raising money for foreign students in the Durham public school system, supposedly affected by the presence of ICE. Let me tell you why this irritates me and breaks my heart. Let me tell you why. Let me give you some of the statistics of Durham public schools. 63% of Black students in Durham public schools can't read. They are not proficient in reading, means they are below grade level. 63%. So I'm trying to figure out, where are the fundraisers for them? Where is the outrage for our own children? See, and the reason why I'm getting on y'all and I'm zoning in on you Black folks is because y'all always claim right this up, Black power, Black excellence, Black girl magic, Black love, Black, Black, Black. Blackity, Black, Black, Black. That's all I hear. Y'all talk about Black power, but you never want to talk about Black lack. Black lack. Black minus the B equals lack. Y'all never want to talk about that. So we're going to talk about it today. While y'all out here protesting, while you are letting your dumb, I can't read and I can't do math kids skip school to protest, we're going to talk about this Black lack that will never equal Black excellence. It will never equal Black power. It will never equal Black economic soundness. It's lack. And my kids graduated with phenomenal GPAs. But let me tell you, if they had skipped school for some foolishness, to protest for some people breaking the law, I would have stuck my foot so far up their ass we would have walked home together. So a lot of you parents ought to be shamed knowing that your kids can't read and you are letting them focus on things that won't even affect their daily lives. I'm asking, where the fundraiser for these kids that can't read? 62% of Black kids in DPS are not proficient in math. Not proficient means below grade level. Where's the GoFundMe for some literacy programs for reading and helping them with math? Where's the GoFundMe for that? Y'all want to send out talking about y'all are taking up money for families affected by the presence of ICE? What about for families affected by the presence of stupidity, by the presence of their kids not being able to read, by the presence of not having fathers in the home? You know how shitty a lot of these kids turn out with no fathers in the home? Why y'all not paying attention to that? Where's the march for academic accountability? Because y'all were all at DPS protesting, kids missing school. Where's the march for academic accountability? Because I haven't seen one. I've seen your little idiot kids go out here and work at McDonald's or Wendy's or standing on the corner, not being able to achieve and succeed and wreaking havoc in the community. That's what I've seen. I'm missing, though, these academic marches. While y'all talking about families affected by ICE. And I know there are some of you that say, oh, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I don't have to just pay attention to one thing. My problem is, because I agree, you could do them both. The problem is you aren't. You aren't. And coming together to feed the football team once or twice a year, coming together to feed the band, ain't shit when they can't read and do math. So I'm saying your focus is wrong. Help our kids first. while y'all want to push all this Black power and Black excellence, Black girl magic. You know, when it comes to Black girl magic, y'all want to know where the abracadabra is, where the hocus pocus is. Poof, ain't no man around. That's the Black girl magic. Y'all making men vanish. That's the Black girl magic. A lot of you single mamas not raising strong men. The Black girl magic is poof. No Black man in the house. Poof, a baby, but no father. Poof, no one there to protect you. Poof, no one there to provide. Poof, no one in the posture of prayer in your house. That's the abracadabra and the hocus pocus. It seems like compassion only kicks in when it makes you feel politically righteous. All of this in the streets, selective moral outrage. Help our kids first. Because you can't have charity for foreigners when Black kids can't read. Please make it make sense. And we have a dangerous trend in here in America where breaking the law gets you sympathy, but following the law gets you ignored. And I'm sorry, that's backwards. And you know, one of my frustrations that I didn't even notice until baby pointed it out, we will see people doing well for themselves, following the law, trying to, be good, productive citizens, people. We don't care at all. Let somebody terrorize neighborhoods. Let somebody shoot them up, bang, bang, kill somebody, go off for a few years, come back to the community. It's the whole celebration. It's like they're a whole celebrity. When all the time you had somebody trying to do well, doing right, didn't even pay attention. The amount of fish fries y'all have had for little fat draws in the community, knowing little fat draws commit so much crime, is astounding. It's crazy to me. It's backwards. Real compassion starts at home. Real compassion starts with the kids in your own community. Real leadership is fixing what's broken around you before posing for photo ops and global issues. And I don't know why we don't want to focus on the fact that 67, and it's probably increasing, 67% of Black kids are in single parent homes. And I know a lot of people like to equate this to absolutely no fathers around. And I know that is insulting to the fathers who are active but just don't live in the house. However, it is a problem because you also know many of you are sowing seeds in gardens that you can't tend to. Some of you don't even intend to tend to those gardens. And it's hard when you have seeds spread all across the city or all across different states. It's hard to tend to those gardens. So we can keep pretending like it's not an issue that our kids are being raised in single mother homes, most of them, and focused on all of this other stuff, but it's fake and it's not helping. And it's not going to cause a significant change. For many, we need to go back to the beginning. God, father, mother, children. And we aren't doing that. Faith and family. We aren't doing that. Y'all like to virtue signal and look a certain way online. When y'all put those black squares up, there was no increase in the reading proficiency of Black kids. There was no increase in the math proficiency of Black kids. There was no increase in fathers in the home. But in black squares, just as there will be no increase in any of these areas because y'all running out here, dropping one side of your car low for some immigrants, waving a Mexican flag. It's not going to be an increase in those areas. And if you ignore the struggles of your own children to feel good about helping someone else's, that's not compassion, that's confusion. Y'all are confused. It's like many of you walking around like this. You're not seeing things clear. You're not seeing things straight. You're confused. It's not compassion, it's confusion. You care more about illegal immigrants, but you don't care that it's at the expense of some of your own children who live here, were born here, and have been failed here. We are failing our kids right here. Don't ask me to collect money affected by ICE. I'll send in some funds. We want some literacy programs. We want to set up some tutors to help these kids be able to read and do math on grade level. I'll donate. We want to donate to young girls when they have already made terrible decisions. We want to help them with medical care for their kids so these kids can come out with half a chance. I'll donate. But y'all sitting here doing all of these protests. My God, y'all look like idiots out in these Bull City streets. And I heard Charlotte didn't look any better. And I still cannot figure out, and this was so out there during the Summer of Love 2020, when y'all were out doing these protests. I don't understand how a woman shaking her ass on top of a police car is considered some type of legitimate protest. You are only looking like untamed gorillas, uninformed orangutans. Y'all look stupid. Again, ICE is not here to make laws. They are enforcing them. And you had no issue with your favorite president, Barack Obama, deporting a record number of illegal immigrants. I didn't see any posts from some of y'all. And believe me, I looked. For all of you making these thesis statements on Facebook, classmates, I looked, and I'm not going to call your names because if this gets to you, you know who you are. Writing these long books, these multi-paragraph posts because you have Trump derangement syndrome. They are telling you now, be upset, be angry, but you didn't have any posts 2008 to 2012, 2012 to 2016. You didn't have any of those posts. None of you were protesting. You were electric sliding in the streets because you had a Black president. You weren't paying attention. Now, all of a sudden, because you have Trump derangement syndrome, somebody need to do something. Oh, they're sending back Ubuntu. Been here, been paying attention in school. I hate to see Ubuntu and his child Umfufu have to leave the country. They just don't want black and browns. I hate to have to see Russia sit back. Well, they aren't criminals. I'm hearing that they're taking up people that aren't criminals. And listen, I don't have a problem with immigrants because y'all like to conflate the two. Y'all like to pretend like people that have a problem with illegal immigration has a problem with immigrants. I don't have a problem with immigrants. I love that America is a melting pot. I love that I can go in the grocery store and see a Black, a white, an Asian, a Hispanic, somebody from Africa. I love that. All I'm saying is the same way I encourage people that I know and love to follow the law, the same way we expect people that we know and love to follow the law is the same way we should expect others to follow the law. And I have to make this clear because I see so many of you online being stupid, saying stuff like Melania Trump is an immigrant. J.D. Vance's wife is Indian. It's not about immigrants. This is about those who are doing it illegally when you cannot go to any other country and not follow the legal immigration process. And I read in Mexico, once they realize that you are out of order, you aren't where you're supposed to be, you're illegal, they will go to the same lengths. I read that they've been known to snatch people off of buses and all of that. So this isn't like just American being evil. Americans being evil and not, they are putting boosters on it and y'all are unlearned and you aren't looking into this stuff. In Mexico, Mexican immigration officials conduct enforcement operations. They do. Sometimes pulling people off buses for checks, checking their homes, and this can be enforced at any time because the laws are on the books. We have laws on the books. We have a legal immigration process. And that's just what it is. I haven't seen any of y'all out here protesting for Black men or any man or any woman unfairly treated by the law. You know how many people are locked up in Durham County Jail right now for nonviolent offenses? Y'all can look it up. Locked up for nonviolent offenses. But y'all are sitting here protesting for people who knew the consequences, knew what those consequences could be, and did it anyway. That's no different from somebody going out robbing a store and end up being shot in the ass. You knew it was a possibility. They knew when they came over here and set up shop, it's a possibility they got to go back. They knew when they brought their abuela, tia, over here and didn't do it the right way, it's a possibility they may have to be sent back. And that's just what it is. Y'all out here, and especially Black people, doing all this protesting with all these illiterate kids, you look stupid. You look real dumb. You look real uninformed. You look like you are being led by your emotions, and they pull on your heartstrings with silly stuff like your ancestors were immigrants. Shut the hell up with that. My great-great-grandfather was Native American and white. His mother, Phoebe, was Native American. Left behind when her parents went on the Trail of Tears. So you're not going to pull on my heartstrings with that. And I can't believe y'all allow them to jerk y'all around like that, knowing it is not the same thing. Even if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, everybody in your family came across on slave ships. It's not the same thing. So why you let them use that to get you to go along with something is silly to me. You sound unlearned. You sound like intellectual midgets when you present that as a form of your argument. It makes no sense. And I don't want to hear when nobody else wants to do the work. If nobody else wants to do the work, help them get legal. Because it could be a situation of they don't understand the process. But just because you don't understand the process doesn't mean you get to ignore that there is one. You want these people to be Americans? Then you need to help them go through the process to becoming legal Americans. And then y'all need to be mindful, America can't sustain everybody who just don't like their country and want to come here. It's not going to be possible. So there has to be some laws, some limits, some rules to the immigration process, period. This isn't about just wanting the country to be white. And I'm not saying there aren't people who feel that way. Who cares what they think? It's like me focusing on racists. I don't care what they think. I don't sit here and wonder what white supremacists are thinking all the time. You know why? Because I don't believe in Black inferiority. And in order to even focus on white supremacy and think it's the thing and think it's going to stop me, then I have to believe I'm inferior and I'm not capable of doing those same great things that somebody with white skin is capable of doing. Hi-hat shakers, Miguel, TJ, Thomas, Melina, stimulated students. Stimulated student says Black people, middle class people hold the door open for their own economic competitors. That's a good point. Hi, Miss Cherry. Big Low says, or is that Lou? Big Lou? It's the race to the bottom for our people. And that's, I'm shaking my head, but I agree. I agree. That's the way that it seems. Miguel says our priorities in life should be the Most High and Messiah before anybody and anything, including our families. They come before everything. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you for being here. Led by their nose rings, for sure. I hate those. They're so ugly. I hate those. United Voices for Trump. Great show today, Shemeka. Thank you so much. Now, is this Caesar 5862? Now they are claiming Americans don't want truck driver or construction jobs. And I know a lot of American truck drivers. So that's definitely, that's what they like to pretend. So yeah, that's what they do to get people to buy into it. The correlation is that the less white the country gets, the more liberal and chaotic and cruel it becomes. And listen, with what I'm seeing our people get behind, I would have to agree. I have watched people, and it's funny because you hear, I mean, growing up, of course, and I've told you all this before, I grew up in the Black community. So it was Black schools, Black churches for me. Everything was Black, Black, Black. So I felt like there was a sense of morality that was defined by Christianity. And there were just certain things you knew not to do. So to see now Black people en masse get behind things like abortion, the alphabet mafia, just being lawless, it's so disappointing to see. So it makes me feel like, yeah, the less white the country gets, the more liberal and chaotic it's going to become. Because I'm not seeing, especially the Black community, hold up a standard. We have began to toss standards out the window. When Black people used to be the most married, now deciding they just want to go with it alone. Black women don't care who they have a baby with because the government will take care of that child. Where are the morals and the values? People just entitled, feel like I don't have to work for anything. It should just be given to me. Where are the morals and the values? Looking at your title, the only way it makes sense is the Democrats are still destroying Black families and their futures. I agree with you, Neil Monk. And it's so frustrating because they keep going along with it. They keep buying into it. It's like a different decade, but the same BS. The same thing that they will buy into for their own demise. The idea that I see Black women marching around for the right to kill Black babies It's crazy to me to see that we've been stuck around the same number as far as the population is in America is crazy. Hispanics have come and surpassed us in number, but we are still buying into the things that promote our own demise. I don't understand. Miguel says that's why the Bible warns us to not be with the world. And actuality, how much time do we have left before these worldly governments and organized religions usher in the adversary who will deceive the world? Yeah, I believe it's going to be these organized. I mean, we're seeing it. We are absolutely seeing it right now, Miguel, as we speak. I was a tanker yanker 18-wheeler truck driver for 26 years. Truck driving jobs are being automated. They've talked about that since the 90s. Wow. Stimulated students. I hate seeing Black folks always talking about dating. 35 and 40-year-old women talking about you can't date me if you don't have this or that. Nobody's talking about marriage and family. Yeah, they're not talking about it anymore. United Voices for Trump 2024, the Black community is not rooted in biblical foundations or injunctions. It is 100% behavioral and is rooted in loath, liberation, and lawlessness. You just said an entire mouthful. Black is behavioral now, and that behavior is negative. And that is what is so frustrating. If America is going to survive, we have to stop rewarding bad behavior and punishing responsibility. We have to stop choosing political points over our own children. And we have to stop pretending that law enforcement is the enemy when the real enemy is the system failing our kids every single day. And when I say the system, I'm not pointing the finger to somebody else. The system that we have built is us. That's the system. The system of not getting married anymore, not having families anymore. The system of depending on the government. The system of promoting lawlessness. The system of promoting ratchetness. That's the system. So when we talk about systemic this and that, let's look at that system, the system that we have created that's failing our children every single day. Help our kids first. Everyone else can stand in line and follow the process the same way every other country expects. That's what we need. And I am begging you, right fist up first. All you right fist up people, I'm begging you. Y'all are not helping your own kids. Getting out here and putting everybody else's plight before your own, you're not helping your own children. It's fake moral outrage. It is, let me run to the internet and look like I care. Neo Monk says we need to restore our moral compass. Stimulated Student says marriage is the foundational component of economic prosperity. Absolutely. All the money a man makes, he reinvests in his wife and children. Serial dating is throwing away resources. I appreciate you all for being here today. This caused me to shake my head, and I will probably revisit it. But tomorrow, I'm shaking my head about something else. And Jason Whitlock is going to stop by briefly tomorrow to shake his head with us, head shakers, because I got a lot of questions. We're going to talk about some things going on in the news with religion that I'm seeing in the news, some alleged assassination plots. I'm shaking my head. And then we're going to also talk about what we're grateful for right here before Thanksgiving. I appreciate you all for joining. Join me tomorrow, same place, same time. Peace. I love you.